Couple days after that, me and my best friend get on the phone and we're basically just, talking about the Kada situation. And she says that she thinks that I should call the cops. So she was basically saying that she thinks that I should call the cops and tell them that Keon was, asking about Kada. Now, at the time in my head, I'm thinking that there was no reason to call the cops. He already
It's always a reason to call.
I feel like it was kind of a waste of time to tell them that the guy that they already have in custody, called me and was asking about the girl. And me personally, I'm not a cop caller. I don't call the cops. That's just the way that I grew up.
You won't believe what's shaking Philadelphia right now. A city already on edge has been thrown into chaos after the shocking discovery in the Kada Scott case. Just weeks ago, 23-year-old Kada vanished after leaving her assisted living job, and now her body has been found in a shallow grave behind the vacant Ada H. Lewis Middle School. Authorities have confirmed a gunshot wound to the head, marking this as a brutal homicide, but the twists keep coming. A new suspect has emerged, and fans are left stunned, wondering how deep this mystery really goes. Emotions ran high as friends and family struggled to make sense of the nightmare. Why her? Why now? One tearful friend asked, her voice cracking with disbelief. Social media is ablaze with theories, some pointing fingers, others mourning. But the truth is, the timeline is tangled and the evidence is chilling. Cell phone data, surveillance footage, and cryptic text messages that hint at a relationship gone horribly wrong. The family was left divided, whispers spreading through the neighborhood, neighbors questioning what really happened behind those empty walls. And as the police push forward, uncovering new leads by the hour, one thing is clear. Philadelphia will never see this case the same way again. You need to hear the full story to understand the shocking secrets hiding beneath the surface. The streets of Philadelphia are trembling with a story that nobody saw coming. 23-year-old Kada Scott, a vibrant young woman whose laughter and energy could light up a room, has become the center of a chilling mystery. After leaving her assisted living job one evening, Kat vanished without a trace. Weeks later, authorities uncovered her body in a shallow grave behind the vacant Ada H. Lewis Middle School, hidden in a wooded area that locals barely dared to step into. The city is stunned. This is impossible. How could this happen? A close friend said to the press, her voice breaking under the weight of disbelief. Social media is exploding with speculation. Fans and neighbors are desperate for answers, scrolling through every update and rumor. The latest shock: a new suspect has emerged, intensifying the drama and leaving the public on edge. Authorities have confirmed that Kata's death was a gunshot wound to the head, a violent homicide that has shaken the entire community. But the story doesn't stop there. Cell phone data, surveillance footage, and text messages have begun to map a disturbing timeline. One message reportedly sent between Kata and the suspect, Keon King, read, "Kid me again." Investigators say this is not just a cryptic text. It may reveal a darker pattern in their interactions leading up to the murder. Fans are horrified, struggling to comprehend how an innocent conversation could escalate into tragedy. The victim's family has been plunged into a whirlwind of grief and confusion. Kata's parents, already devastated by her disappearance, are now forced to grapple with the reality of her murder. "We just want to understand what happened to our daughter," one parent asked, hands trembling, voice shaking. Whispers fill the neighborhood, neighbors speculating about the events that unfolded behind the empty school walls. "It's like the whole city is holding its breath," a local journalist said, capturing the tense atmosphere. The breaking news of Keon King's arrest, 21 years old, charged with murder, sent shockwaves through the community. At a press briefing, police confirmed that he is facing multiple charges related to the homicide. But the story is far from over. Investigators have revealed that the evidence collected includes surveillance footage showing the suspect's movements, cell phone GPS data tracking the timeline, and text messages directly linking him to Kada. Each piece adds another layer to an already disturbing case. Local residents are in disbelief. "We thought Philadelphia was safe, but now every corner feels like it hides secrets," one neighbor said. Street reactions are intense, and hashtags like #JusticeForKada, #KadaScott, and #PhiladelphiaShock are trending online. Fans, friends, and strangers alike are glued to every update trying to piece together what happened. The emotional toll is palpable as grief, fear, and anger ripple across the city. The chilling aspect of this case is the apparent planning and timing behind it. Investigators believe this murder was not impulsive. The pattern revealed through phone data and messages indicates that the suspect may have monitored Kata's movements for weeks. A horrifying realization for both the authorities and the public. The meticulous nature of the crime has sent shivers down the spine of everyone following the story. When Kian King was taken into custody, the emotional reactions were mixed. Some family members felt a small sense of relief. Finally, a suspect had been apprehended. Others remained fearful and angry, knowing the motive is still unclear. Community vigils and meetings began forming, reflecting the city's collective anxiety. "We want answers," one community leader said. "But so far, we have only pieces of the puzzle." The abandoned grounds behind Ada H. Lewis Middle School, once only known for graffiti and trash, are now the epicenter of horror. Locals can hardly believe that such a violent crime occurred in what should have been a safe, empty area. The community is haunted by the thought, a place of learning and youth turned into a silent witness to a brutal murder. And then a dramatic twist. Sources confirm that the relationship between the victim and suspect was complicated. Some messages suggest manipulation and coercion may have been involved. Fans and viewers are now speculating whether this was purely a personal crime, or if hidden layers of conflict existed behind the scenes. Philadelphia officials have made this case high-profile, with every press release and statement under intense scrutiny. Legal analysts and criminal experts are dissecting every detail on news channels while the public tries to make sense of the tragedy. How could this happen right under everyone's nose? People ask the question, echoing across social media and the streets. As night falls, the tension doesn't let up. Social media chatter, neighborhood whispers, and news coverage converge, keeping the case at the top of everyone's mind. Investigators have also revealed that forensic evidence, including shell casings and gun residue, links the suspect directly to the timeline of Kata's murder. This revelation adds another shock factor, escalating the suspense for both the city and fans following the case. As the investigation into Kada Scott's murder unfolds, Philadelphia is gripped by a tension that refuses to fade. The discovery of her body behind Ada H. Lewis Middle School was only the first shock. Now, with the emergence of new evidence and the suspect Kian King in custody, the city braces for the next wave of revelations. Emotions are running high, and the community is desperate to understand the full story behind this tragic crime. Inside the police briefing room, the atmosphere was electric with urgency. Detective Lawson, a seasoned investigator, addressed the press. "We are uncovering layers in this case that point to careful planning. This was not an impulsive act. The suspect tracked the victim's movements for days before this horrific event. Cameras flashed as the family listened, some shaking, others holding back tears. The room seemed to hold its breath, absorbing the gravity of the statements. Meanwhile, social media exploded with speculation and analysis. Fans of Kada, friends, and strangers alike scoured the internet for clues. Messages between Kada and Khan, particularly the cryptic "kidnap me again," became the subject of heated debate. Comment threads overflowed with questions. Was it a twisted joke gone wrong or a sinister prelude to murder? Influencers and local news personalities dissected the timeline in real time, amplifying public anxiety. At the vigil held that evening, Kada's closest friends gathered under the dim glow of candles. One friend, Maria, stepped forward, clutching a photo of Kada smiling at a community event. She was full of life, Maria said, her voice trembling. And now we have to live with the horror that someone could plan this right under our noses. Emotions ran high as the crowd murmured in agreement, and whispers of fear and outrage filled the night air. The narrative became more complex as investigators revealed the suspect's background. Kian King, 21, had no prior violent felony convictions, but the details of his interactions with Kada painted a troubling picture. Surveillance footage showed him in proximity to her apartment complex and workplace in the days leading up to her disappearance. Police sources indicated that he had been monitoring her routine, a chilling prelude to the tragic event. In one particularly shocking moment, a neighbor came forward claiming they overheard an argument between Kada and Ken weeks before the incident. They were shouting, "I don't know exactly what, but it sounded serious," the neighbor told reporters. The tension in the neighborhood was palpable. Everyone wondered how many clues had been overlooked, how many signs ignored. Fans were shocked, and emotions among the community were raw and intense. As the investigation progressed, another dramatic twist surfaced. A second location tied to the suspect's activity was discovered. A rented storage unit several blocks from the crime scene. Inside, police found items that may link King to premeditation. "This is a developing aspect of the case," Detective Lawson explained. "We are evaluating all evidence to understand the full scope of what occurred." The revelation only heightened the city's fear and curiosity, leaving citizens asking whether there could be other undiscovered connections or accomplices. Meanwhile, Kata's family faced mounting media scrutiny. Statements to reporters were delicate, measured, and filled with pain. Her mother said, "We trusted the authorities to find the truth, but every new update tears open wounds we thought we were starting to heal from." Siblings of Kada, caught between grief and frustration, demanded transparency, fearing that every revelation was only scratching the surface of the truth. Fans and community members rallied around them, sending messages of support, but the emotional weight remained unbearable. Investigators were also piecing together a digital trail. Phone records, GPS data, and text communications revealed a timeline that began hours before Kada's disappearance. Authorities suggest that King had multiple interactions with Kada in the days prior, including social media communications that in retrospect appeared ominous. Each digital footprint was meticulously analyzed, adding layers to the story that were both fascinating and horrifying. The public reaction to these revelations was intense. Online forums lit up with discussions, dissecting every known detail. The family was left divided, one local post read, "And the city's fans are in shock. No one can believe this happened in a place they once felt safe." Citizens debated the meaning of the text messages, the suspect's motives, and even the circumstances surrounding the discovery of the shallow grave. Speculation ran rampant, amplifying the case's notoriety across the nation. As the pressure mounted, police announced plans to conduct further interrogations and forensic analyses. Witness statements were cross-referenced with digital data, and investigators were looking into King's acquaintances for possible leads. "We are exploring every angle," Detective Lawson told reporters, "to ensure we leave no stone unturned." The suspense grew, leaving both the community and viewers glued to every update. Amid the official developments, dramatic tensions unfolded among friends and colleagues of Kada. Rumors of disagreements, heated exchanges, and potential conflict surfaced. Some co-workers expressed guilt, wondering if there was anything they could have done to prevent the tragedy. "We all just wish we knew," one co-worker admitted. "If there was a sign, we missed it, and now it's too late." The narrative became not just about the crime itself, but the ripple effect of fear, guilt, and outrage it created in the community. Another twist emerges. An anonymous tipster contacted investigators, hinting at the possible involvement of additional individuals. While the tip is being verified, it introduces the unsettling notion that the case may be larger than initially understood. Fans and citizens alike speculate, could there be accomplices? Was King acting alone? The suspense intensifies, keeping everyone on edge and questioning the full scope of the crime. Meanwhile, journalists and media outlets began reconstructing Kada's final hours. Using cell phone pings, video surveillance, and witness accounts, they mapped a harrowing timeline. Each revelation added layers to the narrative, turning what initially seemed like a tragic homicide into a complex story of planning, manipulation, and unanswered questions. It's like the pieces are falling into place, but the picture is darker than anyone expected, one local reporter commented. The community's grief turned into a demand for justice. Local leaders called for increased safety measures, more oversight in neighborhoods, and vigilant support for young women. Social media campaigns grew in size and intensity, raising awareness and demanding accountability. Emotions ran high, and the city collectively held its breath as authorities continued to dig deeper into the chilling sequence of events. In the midst of all this, the family released a statement appealing to the public for privacy and understanding. "We appreciate the support," they said, "but we ask that everyone respect the investigation. Our focus is on finding the full truth and seeking justice for Kada." The emotional gravity was palpable. Even as the city followed every development, the human cost remained front and center. The investigation also brought forward new forensic details. Analysis of gun residue, the shallow grave, and physical evidence strengthened the connection between the suspect and the crime scene. Each discovery was met with shock and disbelief as viewers realized the meticulous nature of the crime. Fans were left questioning how a vibrant young woman like Kada could be so thoroughly trapped in the final hours leading to her murder. And as night falls over Philadelphia, the tension is unrelenting. Community meetings, vigils, and online debates continue late into the night. The city remains captivated by the investigation, anxiously awaiting the next revelation that will push the narrative even further. The suspense is electric and the twists keep coming, leaving both the family and the public desperate for answers. The tension in Philadelphia reached a breaking point as new revelations came to light in the Kada Scott case. With Kian King in custody, investigators pushed deeper into the timeline, unearthing evidence that raised even more questions than it answered. The city, still reeling from the discovery of Kada's shallow grave, braced for what authorities described as critical developments in the investigation. Fans were glued to every update, unable to look away from the drama unfolding before their eyes. Inside the police department, forensic teams worked tirelessly. Analysts cross-referenced GPS data, surveillance footage, and text messages, building a chilling narrative of the hours leading up to Kada's disappearance. "It's clear this was meticulously planned," Detective Lawson explained during a press briefing. "And we are exploring all angles to ensure justice is served." Cameras flashed, capturing the somber reactions of family members who remained devastated, their grief compounded by the media attention. Meanwhile, the story grew even more complicated. Anonymous tips and witness statements suggested the possible involvement of other individuals connected to Kian King. Investigators could not confirm the credibility of these leads yet, but the possibility of accomplices sent shockwaves through the city. Neighborhood forums and social media threads exploded with speculation. Fans and local residents were stunned. Could there really be more people responsible for Kada's murder than initially reported? At a community vigil that evening, emotions ran high. Friends and family gathered to honor Kada's life, their voices trembling as they recounted memories of her energy, kindness, and spirit. She lit up every room she walked into. One friend said, tears streaming down her face. "And now we're left with nothing but questions and heartbreak." The crowd murmured in agreement, their grief mingling with fear as rumors of hidden motives circulated. The community's sense of security had been shattered, leaving everyone on edge. Investigators disclosed another shocking detail. Additional evidence found in a rented storage unit suggested premeditation. Items discovered there linked Kian King to the planning stages of the crime, painting a terrifying picture of how calculated the murder had been. Digital evidence, including phone, communications, and social media interactions, further revealed a disturbing pattern of obsession and manipulation. Fans were shocked, realizing that this was not a crime of impulse. It had been meticulously orchestrated. Inside the Scott household, the family struggled to process the unfolding events. Parents wrestled with grief and anger. Siblings oscillated between shock and frustration, and friends were left questioning whether warning signs had been missed. "We try to see the signs. We really did," one sibling admitted to reporters. "And now it's just pain and questions that may never be answered." The media captured every reaction, intensifying public interest and magnifying the city's collective anxiety. Meanwhile, Police continued to unravel the suspect's background. Kian King, 21, had a previously clean record, which made the case all the more unsettling. His social connections, digital footprint, and prior interactions with Kada were examined closely. Each piece of the puzzle seemed to reveal more chilling aspects of their relationship, suggesting tension, manipulation, and control. Fans were shocked as the narrative shifted from a straightforward homicide to a complex story of psychological and emotional manipulation. In an unexpected twist, investigators also revealed that certain text messages previously dismissed as casual may have been part of a larger strategy to manipulate Kada. Messages like, "Kidnap me again," were reanalyzed in the context of patterns indicating coercion and subtle threats. Analysts believe that these interactions reveal a disturbing dynamic, one that adds depth and darkness to the tragedy. Community reactions were intense. Online forums buzzed with disbelief and horror, and local media covered every nuance. The investigation also shed light on the timeline of events leading to Kada's death. Hours before her disappearance, surveillance footage showed the suspect in close proximity to her workplace and apartment complex. GPS tracking confirmed movements consistent with premeditation. Forensic evidence, including shell casings and gun residue, tied the suspect directly to the murder, further strengthening the case. Fans and neighbors alike were horrified, realizing that the young woman's last hours had been carefully monitored and controlled. Amid all this, the question of motive remained central. Why did this happen? Friends speculated about personal disputes while authorities explored all possible angles. Community members whispered theories. Was this a crime of passion, or was it a more calculated act? The uncertainty fueled fear and intrigue alike. Social media platforms were flooded with comments, debates, and emotional reactions. The family was left divided, and the city is in shock. One post read, "No one can believe this happened in a place we thought was safe." As investigators continued, the possibility of accomplices loomed large. Anonymous sources hinted at additional individuals involved, raising the stakes even higher. Police stated that all leads were being actively pursued, but cautioned that the investigation was ongoing. Fans were left on edge, watching as authorities pieced together a chilling picture of premeditation, manipulation, and potential collusion. Every new discovery intensified the suspense, keeping the city glued to the story. The emotional toll on Kada's friends and colleagues also escalated. Rumors of past conflicts, disagreements, and potential warning signs emerged, creating a layered narrative of tension, regret, and fear. Coworkers expressed guilt and helplessness, questioning whether they had overlooked something critical. The story became not just about the crime itself, but about the ripple effect of pain, fear, and outrage that it had unleashed. By now, the case had captured national attention. Media outlets dissected every detail, mapping timelines and analyzing messages and digital footprints. Experts debated the psychological dimensions of the crime, the suspect's profile, and the implications for community safety. Fans followed every update, shocked by the level of planning and the potential for undiscovered aspects of the case. The city was captivated, unable to look away from the unfolding tragedy. Inside the investigative team, forensic specialists worked tirelessly. Every shred of evidence, from shell casings to surveillance video, was scrutinized. Analysts reconstructed the crime, mapping Kada's final hours with precision. Each revelation added to the story's tension, exposing the meticulous nature of the murder and the chilling reality that the victim had been trapped in a carefully orchestrated scenario. And just when the public thought they had grasped the full scope, another dramatic development surfaced. Authorities revealed that certain items found in the suspect's possession suggested that he may not have acted alone. Investigators cautioned that these leads were still being verified, but the possibility of accomplices added a new layer of suspense. Fans and community members reacted with shock, fear, and disbelief, knowing that the case's full truth might be even darker than imagined. The investigation is far from over, but one fact is undeniable. Kada Scott's story has changed Philadelphia forever. The city mourns, The family struggles, and the community demands answers. The suspect, Kian King, faces serious charges, and authorities continue to pursue every lead. But the twists, unanswered questions, and shocking revelations ensure that this story will stay in the public consciousness for months to come. With every new piece of evidence, the drama intensifies. Fans are shocked, emotions ran high, and the city remains divided between grief and anger. As the investigation unfolds further, one thing is certain. This case is a cautionary tale, a complex web of planning, manipulation, and heartbreak. And for viewers watching from home, it is impossible to look away. As the city of Philadelphia grapples with the shocking tragedy of Kada Scott, one thing is clear. This story is far from over. From her disappearance to the discovery of her body behind Ada H. Lewis Middle School, the investigation has revealed a chilling sequence of events that has left the community, fans, and family in shock. Kian King, now in custody, faces serious charges, but questions still linger. Were there others involved? What truly drove this horrifying act? And could anything have been done to prevent it? Fans are shocked. Emotions ran high, and the family remains divided between grief, anger, and an urgent demand for answers. The evidence uncovered, text messages, surveillance footage, GPS data, paints a picture of premeditation and manipulation, a narrative that continues to unfold hour by hour. Every revelation leaves the public craving clarity, but the investigation's full scope remains hidden, keeping the suspense alive and the stakes higher than ever. Now it's your turn. What do you think really happened behind the scenes? Do you believe Kian King acted alone, or is there more to this case than meets the eye? We want to hear your thoughts, your theories, and your reactions. Share them in the comments below because your voice matters in unraveling the conversation around Kata's tragic story. Don't forget to like this video if you want more in-depth coverage of high-profile cases like this, and subscribe so you don't miss any updates as the investigation develops. Hit that notification bell and stay tuned because this story isn't ending.